Lowe's knows how to help you save. This July 4th, get up to 40% off select Maytag laundry appliances. Plus, get an additional 10% off when you buy 2 or 3 select major appliances. And when you buy 4 or more, you'll save an additional 20%. Find the right appliances and features that fit your home's unique needs and style. Shop Maytag 4th of July deals at Lowe's. Valid through 7/9. See Lowe's.com for details. Savings vary based on purchase amount. Selection varies by location.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.
Kempire is brought to you by The Kempire After Dark is back, but it's now the villain era. Yes, we are coming to Philadelphia on July 10th at City Winery. Then we're hitting Atlanta on August 5th, DC on August 22nd, then back here in New York City on September 12th. All shows have meet and greets, but a lot of people asking, what can we expect from the Kempire After Dark, the villain era? Well, Kempire After Dark, if you came to those shows, were already a night of hot topics, spilling tea, seeing a whole other side of me. So you can only imagine what the villain era is going to bring out. I'm so excited to bring to you a night of not just hot topics, but us recapping some of your favorite shows from Real Housewives of Atlanta to Real Housewives of Miami, but also talking about Tyler Perry, The Diddler, and so much more. Can't wait to see all of you in Philly, Atlanta, DC, and New York. The New York City show has a special live stream option, so even if you're coming to these shows or if you're not because you're in another city, that is your option. I'll see you guys this summer in a city near you. You're listening to Kempire here on the Kempire Radio Network. So that's why. So thank you guys for bearing with me. If you haven't already, be sure to like the video. It's an easy and free way of supporting not just my channel, but other channels as well. Before we get into this Tyler Perry studio related story, I just, first of all, trigger warning, because some of you, we don't know, you don't have to share, have been through something similar, maybe in the workplace, or you've been SA'd, or you've been raped. Just a trigger warning. And I always sometimes forget to give you guys that trigger warning when we talk about these topics, but I think a lot of times you know based off the title of what we're about to talk about. But I'm going to give you a trigger warning right now, just because there is a lot of this, a lot of essay that's going on in the world, a lot of stories are surrounded around rape that's going on, a lot of these powerful people that are covering some of these things up. And I'm not saying that's what's happening with the Tyler of it all. I'm just here to present to you the information that's being shared on social media. I'm not saying it's fact. I'm saying these are allegations. As always, what we do here on the channel, I like to always cite my sources. I first saw this story through our friends over at The Law Intellect, aka Pam Esquire, who's a friend of the channel. I cited her video in the description for those that want to hear the legal breakdown of what this individual, Braxton Wells, is saying. So I wanted to make sure that you guys know that, because again, cite our sources here. I don't know what other people do, but we do. Okay. All right. Before we get into that, as always, thank you to our King's Guards holding us down in the live chat. Please say hello and thank you. Let us know where you guys are watching from. Thank you for bearing with us with some little technical stuff, but I'm glad we figured it out. You guys are the producers and the editors and, helping us out in the live chat. So if anything goes wrong, you will keep me posted. All right. And patience is a virtue. All right. So let's get into this, because it can be a little confusing, and it could be because we have to remember this is a person that doesn't understand the law and might be saying things that might not be 100% correct. And the only reason why I know that is because I got a chance to listen to Pam's video twice. I listened to her video twice just to have a better understanding of what he was saying, because I was a little confused, because this is a man that settled with Tyler Perry Studios. He's accusing one of Tyler Perry's executives of graping and SAing him. Okay. He also reveals that he signed a settlement agreement where he received like $500,000. But he's also alleging that he was misinformed in regards to when he made his complaint. He alleges that he was told one thing versus what he was actually entitled to. I don't know if that's necessarily true. Again, these are allegations. I want to say that. All of this is alleged. We're not saying that this is fact, okay? What is necessary, I'll say based on what he's showing, he's dropping a lot of receipts on his social media, including his settlement agreement, which includes a non-disclosure agreement, meaning that you can't talk about this settlement. You can't talk about these allegations. However, in the settlement, Tyler Perry Studios says that we did nothing wrong here. We will also remind you that just because someone settles doesn't mean that they're guilty. It's important to understand it. Sometimes these companies, these celebrities settle because they're guilty, allegedly. But sometimes they settle because they don't want the discovery of it all. They don't want to expose it all. They don't want the media to talk about it, because a lot of times when the media talks about it, people will not talk about the follow-up or the resolution that, oh, nothing was there. The person did not make valid allegations or they were false allegations. They don't want to go through all that. And I can understand that, because there are a lot of media outlets that will, or well, not even just media outlets, a lot of times the public will not give the same amount of attention and to the initial allegations versus the resolution. We try to, because we cover a lot of different stories here on the channel, but if there's a resolution to something, we try to give you the update if we have the time. But the Diddy of it all, we gave you the full work through of the Diddy of it all. If you missed any of our Diddy coverage, for those that haven't been around here or you're new to the channel, go check out our whole Diddy trial playlist. We covered it from day one. We even had Kirsten Brown here, a Los Angeles prosecutor, helping us break down the legality of that Diddy trial. So be sure to check that out if you missed it. There's a whole playlist about that. You can also hear it on the Kempire podcast. All right. Where do we begin? I'm going to start by sharing my screen, because I think it's important to share everything that he's saying verbatim versus me trying to interpret what he's saying. But his allegations is that he did settle with Tyler Perry Studios. It's important for me to emphasize these allegations aren't against Tyler Perry. It's against Tyler Perry Studios and one of their executives, Mark Swinton. These allegations are against them. However, he is accusing Tyler Perry Studios of trying to allegedly cover this up. All right, so let me share my screen with you guys. Again, keep liking the video if you haven't liked it already. Thank you, Nicole, for becoming a member. We appreciate it. It is a members-only live chat. We do this at least once a month. Members, I might be doing... later today, I would like to show you the Kempire After Dark New York City show. I've been promising to show you that for weeks now. The Diddy of it all has kept me very, very busy. But it's also a reminder that Kempire After Dark, the Villain Era live show, is happening this Thursday in Philadelphia. So if you're in Philly, South Jersey, or you're in New York, or maybe you will be in Philly on Thursday, go get your tickets today. I already started plotting out what I want to talk about. I have a lot to get into, and it's nothing like what you see here on YouTube. I don't need to say grape. I can say it all. Okay. And we will say it all. So go get your tickets today. Meet and greet tickets are available for that show. Then we're coming to Atlanta on August 5th. Then we're back in DC on August 22nd. Then back here in New York City on September 12th. All shows have meet and greets, but the live stream option is available for the New York City show. So go get your tickets today if you haven't already. All right. More information will be available in the description, along with, as always, citing our sources, Pam Esquire's coverage of this case. So if you want to hear the legal side of this, I'm just laying out my opinion and laying out these allegations that Braxton Wells has against some of the attorneys that he reached out to when he initially had his allegations against Mark Swinton, an executive over at Tyler Perry Studios. I had to look it up to see if this man was still working for Tyler. He is. We'll get into that in just a second. So let me share my screen with you guys as I go through. Shout out to everyone watching on Facebook. I see you guys, everyone watching on Twitch and Twitter. Let me just say this. For those that are following me on YouTube, go make sure you're following me on Twitch, because I know a lot of you, I stream in 4K. Today we're not streaming in 4K, but normally I stream in 4K. That is the best quality over there. And I might be doing some more watch parties and things like that over there, just because TikTok is getting funny and things like that. All right, let me share my screen with you guys. Please and hold. Okay, hold on. There we go. All right, let me share the screen with you guys. So, all right, and let me know if you can hear, because that's going to be the challenge here, because as I said to you before, I don't utilize this often. All right, so you can see yesterday it was only like a couple of not a couple, maybe like several things that were here, and he's since then added a lot more. He even has some stuff in his Instagram story that I want to talk about as well. We're going to play some. Let me just test the videos out first. Let me just see if you guys can let me know in the live chat if you can hear his videos. Hold on.
He's been working for Tyler for since he was 18. I think the guy's like 32 now. I'm not really good at math, but pretty sure that's.
Let me know if you guys could hear that. I just want to make sure before we even play any of his videos. All right. Okay. Angela says, Angel said, I can still hear. Okay. Thank you. Let me know, everyone in the live chat, if you can hear. Thank you, Fox. Our producers are in the chat. We appreciate you guys. Okay. All right. I would, again, just want to trigger warning for some of the things that we're going to get into. Some of what he's posted, I can't make out what he's trying to say in regards to some of the screenshots that he's sharing. However, he does post the alleged, I'm going to say alleged, settlement agreement that he did sign with Tyler Perry Studios. But let me go up here where he first tells his initial story, right? This is it. Okay, let's go here. First of all, he captions it. Mind you, this is less than 24 hours ago that Braxton Wells is posting a bunch of different receipts and stories and legal documents alleging that he was raped and essayed by a Tyler Perry Studios executive, Mark Swinton. Okay. So he says this, Mark E. Swinton civil lawsuit. So for the first time I met, let me just make sure I can see you guys. Let me just move this over here so I can see your comments. All right. Thanks, Vicky. Vicky's letting me know she can hear us on Facebook as well. That's important. So I know on all the platforms you guys can hear me. So for the first time I met Mark Swinton, I booked a 16 episode on Ruthless. Sound familiar? Remember, we did a whole story talking about Derek Dixon, who also appeared on Ruthless. He says, I booked a 16 episode on Ruthless playing the role Belle with the help of Cindy Butler at I Submit Talent Agency in Atlanta, Georgia. I was on a Zoom call with him and Raven Drummer, letting me know how much they love my self-tape, and I did my self-tape at North Hollywood at Creation Studios. They booked me a first-class ticket from Los Angeles to Atlanta, Georgia. I had a driver waiting on me at the airport to take me to the Intercontinental Hotel on November 6, 2019. So when it was time for me to come on set November 7th, 2019, they took pictures of me in wardrobe and wig, and then when I was about to work, Mark Swinton calls me in his office, letting me know that they were sending me back home and letting me know I had a 17-year-old face, but I had a man's body. And I took it in as a professional manner. And when I did, Mark said that he was impressed how I handled it well and said that he will promise me a role in the future. Then 2 years later, we stayed in contact and he booked me for the role cult member on The Oval. You also may recall Derek Dixon was also in The Oval. Okay. On the October 19th, 2021. And TPS, Tyler Perry Studios, flew me out from LAX to Atlanta November 1st, 2021, 12:20 p.m. PST on Delta Airlines. So that explains the Delta Airlines screenshot that he shares on his Instagram. He says TPS flew me out from LAX to Atlanta November 1st, 2021, 12:20 p.m. PST on Delta Airlines and landed in Atlanta at 7:40 p.m. Eastern. I had to Uber myself to the Intercontinental, and Mark got my COVID test so that he could hang out with me. And I didn't think anything of it because this guy was very powerful at Tyler Perry Studios. I was like honored he would want to hang out with me. And I was like someone that was coming up in the business. And he continues to text me and ask me where I'm at. And I was hanging out with this girl named Taylor, who I was having sexual relations with. And he would always ask me about her and asking me where I was at and what I'm doing. Doesn't this sound a little bit like what Derek Dixon was saying in regards to Tyler wanting to know where he's at, what he's doing, that kind of thing? Doesn't it sound a little bit like that? Just saying. Okay. And he said, I kept telling him that I was with Taylor at Sauce Buckhead. Then he would say he may stop by and buy me a drink. And he did, bought me a drink, and he got himself a drink and my girlfriend, Taylor. And then me and him walked outside, and he was telling me about what Tyler Perry does at his Bahamas island with his male actors and female actors. And they all have sex with each other. Okay. And kept repeating that to me when he flew me out to Atlanta on January 6th of 2022. Then November 4th, 2021, 10:45 a.m. PST, he would ask me how my performance, how did my performance go on set? And I said, Tyler said that I did an incredible job, and then text me at November 4th, 2021, 11:29 a.m. PST. You have plans tonight? In a quote, we can hang at my crib tonight and you can keep your original flight back. And I thought it was crazy he would want me to hang out at his crib, and I'm just an actor. I thought I was building a great relationship with someone that could change my career. And then January 5th, 2022 at 10:47 a.m. PST, Mark texts me wanting to see me again and asking my name and date of birth, and booked me a flight back to Atlanta on January 6th at 12 p.m. PST on Delta Airlines. Was asking what kind of liquor I like, and I said Don Julio 1942. And picking at steakhouse he think I would like, and then text him I landed at Atlanta at 7:21 p.m. Eastern, letting me know he is at S3 terminal, and letting me know he parked at the cell phone lot and drive around to pick me up at arrivals. And I saw him in his Mercedes G-Wagon. And he told me we were headed to Marcel's Steakhouse. While we were driving, Tyler Perry calls him and telling me to be quiet. And he has him on speaker, basically saying things about other actors and calling them annoying and bad-mouthing other crew members. Sound familiar? We did a whole video breaking down the lawsuit from Derek Dixon and his thoughts on how Tyler utilizes his power with the actors by killing them off and things like that. Just correlating what we read in that video. I'll cite the video in the description after this live. He says, while we were driving, Tyler Perry calls him and telling me to be quiet, and has him on speaker, basically saying things about other actors and calling them annoying and bad-mouthing other crew members. Again, there's nothing illegal about that. We'll just say that, okay? Then we get to Marcel's Steakhouse on Buckhead, I guess in Buckhead, and told me I can get anything I want, and he orders me Don Julio 1942. While I'm drinking my first drink, he orders me more drinks and more drinks. And I ordered 3 drinks straight on the rocks, and I was already drunk at this point. And then I'm talking about my career, but he didn't seem interested in that. He kept telling me how handsome I am. And then when we leave the restaurant, he takes me back to his crib, showing me his $250,000 painting he has in-house and his big aquarium. And I was like, wow, I can't believe I'm in his house. And he asked me he had a Don Julio 1942 bottle for me at his bar near his movie theater. And he made me a drink. He made my drink for me, and I was drinking with him. And then I started feeling weird at this point already when I had another drink, because we went in his movie theater and we were watching a movie, and I don't remember half of the things that he was talking about. Ooh. All I remember, he took me upstairs, up in his room, and he had another room, and watching another movie, and gave me another drink, and felt extra unbalanced, and I was not coherent, and I couldn't fight anyone. He says, I felt tranquilized, and I know he put something in my drink. And he started to trying to kiss my neck and kiss me. And I told him to stop, and he told me, no, it's okay. And I got you, don't worry, come in my room. I couldn't move at all. I felt like my whole body was paralyzed. And then he started taking my clothes off and turned me around, and I couldn't move, and started putting, I'm going to have to change up some of the words because we are on YouTube, putting Vaseline in his butt area, and started driving his private area on my butt area. And I couldn't move, and I couldn't get him off of me. And I started hurting. And then I blacked out, and I don't remember what else he did to me after that. And I woke up the next morning and he told me he sent me $6,000 on Apple Pay to keep me quiet about everything. And I was lost for words and I was extremely mad and embarrassed. I told him I need to take a shower and I noticed I was wiping myself in the shower and I had Vaseline on me and blood mixed together on the washcloth. And I was breaking down, crying in the shower and didn't know what to do. Again, he also posts on his Instagram a settlement agreement that he signed with Tyler Perry Studios. Here's my initial thoughts on the fact they even settled this. And again, people settle things for all different reasons. They don't want discovery. They don't even want this to be a headline. But something like this, where one of your executives, top executives, are being accused of grape, SA. I'm just sort of like, shouldn't we fight this? Because if you didn't do this, shouldn't we fight this? I'm just asking. Again, go watch Pam Esquire's coverage of this, because a lawyer might say, well, no, here are the reasons why you wouldn't want to fight this, and you wouldn't want to make this a spectacle in the news. Okay. But this is a big accusation to settle, allegedly. So he says, and I was breaking down crying in the shower, and I didn't know what to do. And this might also be why you're seeing him react the way that he is on social media. And I preface this because we are going to play some of the clips, and I want you guys to keep that in mind when watching these videos. You're watching a man that went through trauma, okay? Allegedly, I'll say. Because again, in the settlement agreement, Tyler Perry Studios are saying that they did nothing wrong, okay? And they're not admitting to anything in regards to the settlement agreement. He says, and I was breaking down, crying in the shower, and I didn't know what to do. I came to the realization that I was raped by Mark E. Swinton, and I was afraid to speak up about the situation for 2 years because I thought I was going to be blackballed from Hollywood. I left his crib, and I got me a hotel in Buckhead, and going through this traumatic experience, it made my PTSD worse. He's also a veteran. And my mental health was worse since I'm a retired veteran in the Army, and he's had unaliving thoughts all the time. He says, I couldn't live life the way that I wanted. I was basically homeless, and I was house hopping. I kept in contact with Mark and stay on his good side because I was scared. Mark could ruin my acting career, and I just tried to make him happy. And I wanted to report him for so long, but I seen a psychiatrist at the VA to talk to someone, but I told him I was not happy and I couldn't live my life accordingly. And the VA kept changing my doctor every 6 months, and I never had the same one. And this should be documented. And I wonder if he told his doctor at the VA about what happened to him. He says, and the VA kept changing my doctor every 6 months, and I never had the same one. But I didn't have the funds to afford for a civilian doctor. I was living off the VA, which is so incredibly sad to me. This is a whole other side conversation that our veterans do not have the best care once they're retired from the military. They should have the best care. And the VA kept changing my doctor every 6 months, and I never had the same one, but I didn't have the funds to afford for a civilian doctor. I was living off the VA. I thought I would lose my family speaking up about all of this, but they had my back all the way. But I can't live through this burden. It was eating me alive, and I want justice for my mental health that Mark E. Swinton has caused me. And I want all the victims to speak up for all the things that has done too. And that Tyler Perry's right-hand man, and I want that Tyler Perry right-hand man, and I want justice for the emotional distress and mental illness and unaliving thoughts he has caused me. My life has not been the same ever since this incident happened. I wanted to not live anymore and just let myself be with God. A lot of this, again, we follow quite a few of these stories. A lot of this is the same language that people that have been raped or SA'd will say. They start blaming themselves. And when you think about the celebrity stylist of it all, the celebrity status of it all, there's that other part of it where he comes out and everybody in the comment section, everybody in his DMs are threatening him and just being gross. Again, this is why victims do not come forward. All right. Let me just play some of the clips that he posted on, and then we'll go through some of the other screenshots because he shared quite a few different screenshots here. But I want to play some of the clips. Again, he didn't put them in necessarily the right order, but when you're putting together your thoughts, it's hard to do that. Okay. I wish they would allow us to fast forward stuff here.
All right. I'm not about to hide anything with you guys. I'm not. And I'm not about to sit here and be afraid and be silenced by people knowingly they did me wrong. I'm calling out Tyler Perry Studios. I'm calling out Mark Swinton. I'm calling out Jeannie Harrison. I'm calling out Michael Robbins. I'm calling out Tyler Perry. And I'm calling out Mark Temple. And I'm calling out Chris Giovanni. I want you guys to know what you guys did to me was very unlawful. And me being a retired vet, U.S. Army vet, going through post-traumatic stress disorder, going through mood, depressions, everything that I've claimed in my testimony. You all covered it up. You all covered up a felony crime of what Mark Swinton has done to me. I've asked for help from the California State Bar to complain to Jeannie Harrison because she didn't tell me my California rights as a U.S. Army veteran and a California LA resident. I'm sitting here looking on the news that this kid named Derek Dixon is getting unlimited jurisdiction, quid pro, as a LA resident, right? His incident happened in 2020 in Georgia in an employment place. He said he had a sexual harassment, and he was groped by Tyler Perry in Georgia as an employment place. But he's an LA resident. All right, y'all tracking what I'm saying?
And again, this is why I implore you guys to watch Pam's video, because she explains better in a legal sense what he's trying to allude to in regards to jurisdiction. Again, based on what I watched with her, it sounds like he might be a little confused in regards to that. And again, we have to keep in mind, I don't believe at this particular, I have a video from Pam's channel in regards to whether or not Tyler Perry has even been served. Remember, we did a whole video talking about the $260 million lawsuit from Derek Dixon. I don't even think Tyler Perry has even been served with that yet. We don't know if Tyler is going to ask for it to be dismissed or if they're going to settle that particular lawsuit. But we have to keep in mind, $260 million has not been awarded to Derek Dixon. Not yet. I don't think he's going to get $260 million, but
2022, my incident. I get sexually assaulted and raped, drugged, blacked out. That's a felony crime. And it happened in Georgia as a LA resident. So if you guys don't know the laws in Georgia, this is what they put against me. They said I had 2 years of a statute of limitation. I got 5 months late.
that's also really crazy to me. 2 years, your statute of limitations. If you know, again, covering these stories, victims are processing what they've gone through. It can take a long time before they get to the place where, okay, now I want to file charges. 2 years?
2 years of statute.
Okay. So he breaks these up. I'm going to go to
2 years of statute of limitation, right? Now, let's go back to Derek Dixon. 2020, same incident, but just a different, he has sexual harassment. That's way before statute of limitation, right? 2 years, right? That's what, 4, 5 years? And he gets a lawsuit with his attorney, Jonathan Belshad, Jonathan Delshak gets him a $260 million lawsuit.
Keep in mind, $260 million lawsuit, anyone can file a lawsuit and ask for a certain amount. He has not received $260 million. We need to point that out.
And it's all over TMZ. It's all over Fox. It's all over every news outlet that you can name of. Right? Every news outlet. But my civil attorney. Now let's go on a story. How all this stuff happened to me. Ever since I came out with my first video. Right? And I'm gonna tell you right now, Mr. TP, I'm not afraid of none of y'all. I'm not afraid of none of your lawyers. I'm not even part of this business, entertainment business anymore. You're gonna get exposed. Me being with Yahweh Elohim, Yahshua the Messiah, I am covered. And I'm about to expose every demon that is literally possessing you right now. I met a guy who's my manager named Chris Giovanni. Now, I was, I had an agent out in Atlanta. Her name is Joy Purvis. Everybody knows Jay Purvis, of course, and I told her I was going to go to this guy named Chris Giovanni. And Joy told me, oh, no, you shouldn't go to him. He's a bad guy. And he's not going to be the right manager for you. So I'll say this. I meet Chris. I get signed, He wanted to have dinner. He wanted to meet up at Mama Shelter in Los Angeles. Mama Shelter is closed right now. It's closed down, but that's where me and him met up at, and we had a conversation. So I told him about my situation. I was just telling him what I went through. And, I went through the whole Tyler Perry situation with Mark Swinton and what he did to me, paying me $6,000 to shut the hell up, to not ruin my career, his career, or anything like that. And, I told him about the situation I went through, me being sexually assaulted and raped. And he told me, he was like, oh, yeah, I had the same client that went through that. And all my clients who are working with Tyler, they're going through a lot of stress. And people are taking advantage of his clients. Even somebody, 2 years of statute of limitation.
Hold on. Let's go to part 3.
Oh, yeah, I had the same client that went through that. And all my clients who are working with Tyler, they're going through a lot of stress, and people are taking advantage of his clients. Even somebody, a female lead right now, I think her name is Melissa, who's on Ruthless, is saying the same thing, that she's ready to leave Tyler Perry too. But that's another side of the story. I'm not even talking about that right now. He was the one that kind of orchestrated everything. And told me, I think you need to report this. I think you need to say something. Because I've been holding on for this for 2 years. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know who to go to. Being an actor, as y'all all know, it's a hard situation to go through. This is your life. This is what you want. This is your career. This is your dream, right? This is all that you want. But then, you got somebody that you trust, your manager, that's going to support you in this. And he's like, I'm going to help you, but I need you to, when I do tip off this guy, and he's talking about Mark Temple, who's Tyler Perry's attorney. But let's keep going. He tips Mark Temple's attorney and told him, hey, I have a client that's going through the situation. What you want me to do with this? So Mark Temple tips off Tyler. As I quote, Tyler was pissed. Right? Tyler was pissed. And that's all I hear from, Chris. And Chris was telling me, they're going to have a third-party attorney that's going to contact you, and they're going to do, it's going to be normal, and they're going to ask you, hey, we've been hired for Tyler Perry Studios to do a employment place investigation. But Tyler's going to know about all the information. He's going to know about what's happening, about all the accusations, right? Okay, so let's get to the nice things here. So Chris tells me, hey, just tell them that I try to send you an audition for Straw and this and that, and because I don't want to be having a conflict of interest, because
Pause. Straw. The most recent Netflix movie with Taraji P. Henson.
I have clients, they're making about $100,000 each episode. I mean, well, they're making their client, his client is making $1 million, but he's making $100,000 on each client. And I'm pretty sure he has, like, he told me it was like 3 clients that he had on there. But anyway, that's like the moral of the story. But he told me to lie for him. That's red flag number 1. He's been working for Tyler for since he was 18. I think the guy's like 32 now. I'm not really good at math, but pretty sure that's what? Oh, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to go to the next video.
He's been working for Tyler for since he was 18. I think the guy's like 32 now. I'm not really good at math, but pretty sure that's almost 13 years. I'm not really good at math, but that's a very long time. The guy knows the guy very well. So I'm going through the investigation, right, guys? Michael Robbins sends me a message. He has this other paralegal that's typing up all my stuff. Okay, she's listening to everything in my whole testimony. I tell her everything. What happens. I even got the testimony written out and everything. I literally have everything. So, I'm over here trying to figure out, okay, should I get an attorney? I don't know what to do. This just doesn't seem right, right? So I'm trying to figure out how to get an attorney. I let Chris know I want to get an attorney. The dude gets pissed off, talking about, you don't need to get an attorney. You're just going to cause problems and all this and blah, blah, blah. We can't have this happen. And I'm just like, well, I need to be protected because I don't know what these guys are going to do. They're going to manipulate me. These guys are very powerful. They're billionaires, they can do anything. I don't have shit. I ain't got money like them. I don't have shit. I don't got nothing like them. I'm just trying to take down a person who sexually assaulted and raped me. That's the person I'm trying to take down. But here, it gets even much better. While I'm looking for an attorney, I'm looking for entertainment lawyers to try to see who's connected in the business that can really help me out in this situation, because I don't have anybody.
Pause, too. The other thing that he doesn't need an entertainment attorney here. I think because he's relating this to being an entertainment, that he felt like he needed an entertainment attorney for what he's accusing Mark E. Swinton, a Tyler Perry executive, of. No, you need an attorney. You don't need necessarily an entertainment attorney. And one of the things that, again, I'm citing my sources here in regards to Pam Esquire, who's been covering this case as well. For me, she broke the story because I didn't see anyone else reporting on this when this story broke. He doesn't need an entertainment attorney. And if anything, you're better off not getting an entertainment attorney, because a lot of these entertainment attorneys are going to protect their clients. And if any of these entertainment attorneys are associated with Tyler Perry or Tyler Perry's actors, they're not going to want to ruffle Tyler Perry or Tyler Perry Studios or Mark Swinton's feathers.
Case, but everybody's not trying to take on my case because it's so political. People don't want to ruin their reputation. And I don't know why people don't. I just feel like it's just so stupid how this entertainment business runs. These people are sitting here like, oh, I'm not trying to mess up my political rep, if I take on the case like this, and then they're just ruining me. Who gives a shit, man? You got a person over here that's been sexually assaulted, and that's a felony crime. Let me say that again. That is a felony crime. Okay? Vulnerable, PTSD, 100% disabled veteran that is going through it. And to be honest with you, I'm federally protected. But I'll get better. I'll continue that story better on to my story when I'm trying to tell you. I'm looking for an entertainment lawyer. There's this guy named Doug Johnson. Doug Johnson, I don't know. I guess he deals with stuff like this with sexual assault. But he's like, this ain't my type of thing. But I think I know a woman that can really do this for you. So he introduced me to this lady named Jeannie Harrison. Jeannie Harrison, I guess she repped for the Harvey Weinstein victims. And, I don't know what happened in the Harvey Weinstein, and I've seen that he went to jail. He's been indicted and stuff like that. He's been working for...
Get to part 5.
So, but he's like, this ain't my type of thing. But I think I know a woman that can really do this for you. So he introduced me to this lady named Jeannie Harrison. Jeannie Harrison, I guess she rep for the Harvey Weinstein victims. And, I don't know what happened in the Harvey Weinstein, and I've seen that he went to jail, he's been indicted, and stuff like that. But it sounds like it's good on paper, right? She's got everything that you need, right? So let's continue. She takes on my case. I tell her from the beginning of the story, I tell her, listen, I had a lot of attorneys tell me in Georgia, because I don't know my rights, because I live in Los Angeles. I'm a resident of Los Angeles, but I went over there and traveled in an employment place and came back, right? So, they're saying the statute of limitation is 2 years. And I told her this straight up. This was statute of limitation for 2 years. And I had several attorneys tell me that in Georgia. So I was like, well, they were telling me you're going to have to get a civil attorney in LA because you're a resident in LA. So I'm going here trying to figure out the situation. I'm telling her, she still takes on the case. But she says, hey, I'm about to go on vacation for a whole month, and I'll let you know when things are going good. I waited a month. Okay? I waited a month. No words. Nothing. I haven't heard from anyone. I haven't talked to anyone. I only talked to her paralegal. Paralegal was like, just keep sending us some of your doctor stuff and your medical documents. Now, as you know, guys, that's HIPAA Act. Giving out federal documents, what I'm going through in my medical procedures, and knowingly, I didn't know they were trying to keep a felony crime hidden. That is a felony crime, and that's federal.
Pause. Well, no. If you're enlisting them as your attorney, they're going to need this information in regards, especially if you are trying to get damages against your accuser. They're going to need to know about your mental health and you going to a doctor, and all that's protected between all of you guys. It's not like they're going to share this with anyone else. They shouldn't share this with anyone else. So that's not a HIPAA violation.
But I'll continue. I'm giving all my medical documents to an attorney that is representing me, right? And she does.
And I'm sure when he probably signed off all this information, all of that's in there. All of that is covered in when you agree to work with an attorney. So I think he might be confused. Again, we have to remember, this is a layman. He's not an attorney. He's also probably hasn't worked in human resource. So he doesn't understand those elements. So it's important to give him some grace in regards to that.
Doesn't mention any of it.
And I don't blame him for being paranoid. Do you guys blame him for being paranoid about who might know who and who's trying to, especially now, because he's feeling like he wasn't advised correctly legally by the attorneys that were representing him?
This stuff to them. Now, I know she's going to tell me, oh, I've said these things and blah, blah, blah. But why haven't you tell me my rights in Los Angeles? Why haven't you tell me I had unlimited jurisdiction in Los Angeles? Why you didn't tell me I had quid pro in Los Angeles? What?
And look, not all attorneys are made the same. You guys know I come from working for a law firm. I've met thousands, and I'm not saying that, I'm not being dramatic when I've met thousands of attorneys, and not all of them are the same. And of course, not every attorney specializes in, let's say, entertainment or what he's accusing Tyler Perry Studios of. Not all attorneys are going to advise you correctly.
Why was this case not seen by a judge, jury, or so? But
and Pam Esquire, who we got this from, also says that he could have had this brought to trial. But again, was he advised appropriately?
Derek Dixon's case? Because I wanted criminal and I wanted civil. But she said it was impossible to do any of that.
So he's saying that he wanted to file criminal charges against Mark E. Swinton. I'll show you. He's a Tyler Perry executive. He's been working with Tyler for years, and he still works with Tyler Perry. This case, for those that are just joining us, this is Braxton Wells. He's posted on social media yesterday several different videos. This is the last clip, I think, or maybe one other clip, but he posted all these different receipts and screenshots. He's basically saying that after this $260 million lawsuit that was filed by Derek Dixon, that he's now reassessing the situation that he had with Tyler Perry Studios. He did end up receiving, allegedly, I'll say, a settlement. He did share that settlement on his Instagram as well.
The statute of limitation in Georgia. Oh, and I totally forgot. The third party attorney, Michael Robbins, who was doing the investigation, she's been doing business with him for over 15 years, and they've done the same. They were working together at the same practice before for 15 years. They worked on the same cases together as a team. Conflict of interest. A vulnerable victim that's been sexually assaulted and raped, mood disorder, PTSD, depression. Going through a lot.
See the hurt in his eyes.
Going through a lot. And you took advantage of my medical documents. No Silence Act order in California as a resident. As a VA disability retired soldier, I cannot be silenced. Me having a disability, that's a federal crime. I can't be silenced or coerced or pressured to signing in anything without seeing a judge, a jury. And I was never told those rights. That's legal malpractice. I make a police report while I'm in Colombia to the Roswell police on September 25th when I came out with my first video. Before I even signed the NDA. And the NDA was signed on October 31st. Because I even told her I didn't trust her.
So he did sign an NDA, and now he's spilling all this information. I know Pam also said that possibly Tyler Perry Studios could come after him for the money that he was given. Apparently he was given like $500,000. However, half of that was given to his attorney, so he only really walked away with probably like $200,000. I know, still a lot of money, but he's now seeing this lawsuit from Derek Dixon for $260 million. However, Derek Dixon has not received $260 million. He's suing for that.
I didn't trust what they were doing. They were manipulating. I felt like I was being pressed. Even the third-party interviewer, Michael Robbins, didn't even give us a conclusion on the case. He didn't even tell us who was at the wrong or anything. He didn't even give us any information. Tyler Perry knew everything. He kept all that information silent. Everything silent. He didn't let anyone know. But my attorney saying, hey, I got text messages of the lady telling me this. Derek Dixon's case.
I think he has another video, but I want to kind of go through some of the things that he was saying. So we already read through that story. He also posts, this was an email that he received from one of the attorneys that he had reached out to, and they got back to him. Braxton, thank you for reaching out to us. I read your message below. Either I or someone from my team will be reaching out to you today to discuss further. What happened to you is shocking. Braxton writes in the caption here, he says, and this is Jonathan Delshad, the people suing Tyler Perry for $260 million, representing Derek Dixon. Remember, again, if you missed any of our Derek Dixon coverage, there are two videos where we talk about the initial lawsuit and then we read through the lawsuit in another separate video. He says these people won't even help the survivors. It's just to help Derek Dixon in his case and to testify in court. So he's alleging that he reached out to this attorney even before Derek Dixon's lawsuit. He says, I gave him all my evidence and didn't even try to help. I need help from the people to get this information out there because this is ridiculous. This entertainment business is outrageous. All right. Again, because he didn't put this in order. So there are screenshots. Remember, we read through his story. So I'm guessing this is him confirming that Marquis Swinton, who he's he's alleging that in his story flew him out and then SA'd him. Okay. All right. So then he posts this. He says, no more speaking, just proof. He says, I was raped, groomed, and silenced. Now I'm exposing the cover up. He says, my name is Braxton Wells. I'm a U.S. Army veteran, and I'm speaking up for every survivor who was told to, quote, stay quiet. He says, what happened? In January of 2022, I was raped by Mark E. Swinton, VP at Tyler Perry Studios, after being lured across state lines from California to Georgia under false pretenses involving my work on BET's The Oval. Sound familiar? He says, I was a retired veteran with PTSD. They used my mental health, trauma, and status against me. But the rape was only the beginning. My civil attorney, Jeannie Harrison, pushed me into a secret NDA while the criminal case was still open. She never told me about my federal or military protections. She never filed a civil case, and she worked behind the scenes with Tyler Perry's defense. These are, again, accusations. He says the entire system failed me by design. This is a federal crime, not a private dispute. And then he puts the criminal investigation, Roswell Police Department. He mentioned that in his video. Okay. Let me just go. He says the laws that protect me and void this NDA. Because again, he had a settlement, which he shares. We'll go through the settlement in a second. And he's saying that the NDA within that settlement is voided because of these federal laws. I don't know if there's any truth to that, but this is what he's saying. Okay. All right. More in regards to California law. He says, I was a California resident at the time. And then he says why the NDA is void by law. Signed under coercion, mental distress, and concealed legal rights. Jeannie Harrison never disclosed my veteran or California protections. NDA signed on October 31st, 2024. October 31st, 2024. So the settlement is just last year, guys. We're only 7 months into 2025. So keep that in mind, the timeline. After the criminal case had already started. He said conflict of interest. Jeannie collaborated, I'll say allegedly, with the defense. Suppressed evidence. Investigator Michael Robbins never released findings. He says this is obstruction of justice. Again, we have to remember he's not an attorney. I can't say that it's obstruction of justice or not. He says this is a legal malpractice and this is a violation of the Constitution. He says, compare this to Derek Dixon's case. And Pam did look up Derek Dixon's case to get an update. I'm going to play a clip for that after this. He says, also a California resident essayed in Georgia in 2020 was protected under California law, never forced into the Georgia jurisdiction, wasn't silenced by an NDA. He filed a lawsuit. One of the things that Pam said in her video was the fact that we don't know if he sent probably a legal demand letter to Tyler Perry, and that's why he ended up filing this $260 million lawsuit. Okay. So he says that my case is the same, but I was denied justice. Why? Because the system protects predators. And he then goes on to say, legal action I'm demanding. File a motion to void the NDA. Civil lawsuits for SA, grooming across state lines, fraud, emotional distress, legal malpractice, criminal prosecution in both California and Georgia. Names I am publicly holding accountable. I think that might be in another thing. Again, guys, for those that are just joining us, we're talking about this breaking news from over the weekend. Braxton Wells, who was an actor that worked for Tyler Perry Studios, is accusing Tyler Perry Studios of covering up grape and SA by the hands of Mark E. Swinton, one of the senior vice presidents over at Tyler Perry Studios. I did look it up because I wanted, before we went live, to see if, even though they settled this case, and again, people settle things for different reasons, I wondered if Mark E. Swinton was still an employee over at Tyler Perry Studios. And he is. According to this report, they says Mark E. Swinton is still with Tyler Perry Studios, currently serving as a senior vice president of scripted programming and development. He was promoted to the role.
We all know that owning a small business means you wear many hats, but sometimes you really need an extra pair of hands. Upwork is how good companies find great and trusted freelance talent. With more than 2 decades of experience, with the simple and ambitious goal of pioneering a better way of working, companies at every stage turn to Upwork to get things done and find more flexibility in staffing key projects and initiatives. They access a global marketplace filled with top talent in IT, web dev, marketing, and more. Posting a job on Upwork is easy. With no cost to join, you can register, browse freelancer profiles, and get help drafting a job post or even book a consultation. From there, you connect with freelancers that get you and can easily hire them and take your business to the next level. Visit Upwork.com right now and post your job for free. That's Upwork.com to post your job for free and connect with top talent ready to help your business grow. That's UPWORK.com, Upwork.com.
In March of 2022, after a 14-year tenure at the company, and continues to oversee casting, development, and production of scripted series at TPS. Prior to that, he held the title of vice president and remains actively involved in producing, writing, directing, and showrunning for a range of Tyler Perry projects across TV and film, including Sisters, Ruthless, Bruh, House of Pain, Assisted Living, The Oval, Young Dylan, and numerous Medea features. Okay. What else was there in regards to this? Okay, I think that was it in regards. I just wanted to verify that he was still employed there. But these are some damning accusations. As I said before, people settle for different reasons. But I just feel like these accusations, would you want to settle? Again, this would be for an attorney to speak on further why you would want to settle something like this with such horrendous accusations against one of your top executives. Why would you settle something like this if it wasn't true? Again, the headline, you don't want the headline, but now it's still a headline. They didn't think it would be a headline because there was an NDA involved in the settlement. However, we've said this before, NDAs do not protect people from illegal behavior. And what he's accusing Mark E. Swinton of is criminal. And according to him, he did file something with the the Roswell Police Department. Okay, before we get to the settlement, because he does post the settlement as well, he also posts the name of the defendants. So this is where he was posting a lot of stuff yesterday. Okay. So he says the name of the defendants: Marquis Swinton, rape, grooming, transporting a victim across state lines under false pretenses. Hence why you saw that he posted the Delta receipt in regards to, again, though, to play devil's advocate here. Okay. Diddy's advocate. That could also be work related. He's paying for a flight for you to come to work. Could be work related. However, do you use your personal account, personal email for that? Okay. So Jeannie Harrison says legal malpractice, conspiracy, obstruction of justice, and failure to uphold federal and veteran rights. He says Tyler Perry and Tyler Perry Studios, negligent retention, enabling a predator, and participating in the cover-up. Michael Robbins, conflict of interest and suppression of material findings as third-party investigator. I don't know the legal standing in regards to that. He says in the caption of this post, he says, these elites think they have control, but they don't. Yahweh has all the control. This is the same way how Moses told Pharaoh to let Yahweh's people go, and Yahweh hardened Pharaoh's heart, just like Tyler and Mark and Jeannie and these systems. Okay. And I don't know why let's say he includes Gloria Allred. As you know, she's represented so many different accusers over the years. He says this in the caption, though, of this. He says they don't care about justice. They care about money, fame, and their image in the system. I reached out to Gloria Allred's firm, one of the most famous women's rights lawyers in the world, after I was raped, manipulated, silenced, and betrayed by my own civil attorney. I'm a disabled Army veteran, groomed and trafficked across state lines for a role on The Oval. And this woman had the nerve to say she can't help. He says it's all fake. These celebrities' attorneys don't care about real people. They care about cameras and contracts. Gloria Allred has time to fight for famous clients on Netflix, but not for a great victim and veteran whose rights were stripped under California and federal law. Okay. Here's the thing. Again, we don't know what was shared in regards to this with Gloria Allred, so I think that's important. She might have her different reasons. Maybe she's not taking on new clients. It could be a whole assortment of reasons why Gloria did not take this case, or maybe because he had a settlement already. I don't know, but I'm not going to run with the narrative that everybody in Hollywood has been bought and paid, including the attorneys. It could be. I'm not saying that's impossible, but what I'm saying is the other side of this is that, well, maybe she's not taking on new clients. Maybe because you signed a settlement agreement, she's like, I can't take this on. Attorneys have different reasons for why they don't take on a case. Maybe her caseload is very busy. So he posts this and he says, I also requested help from California State Bar to expedite the case, but these people want to put us in a backlog. We thought the law was protecting, but they are not. It's a system and it's demonic. Well, we know a thing or two about the California State Bar. So for those that might not follow our Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and things like that, but for those that do, the California State Bar has been accused of protecting and not doing what they were supposed to do, allegedly. I don't know if we have to say allegedly because they've admitted it at this particular point and apologized. When it comes to Tom Girardi and him stealing from his victims, there were multiple complaints that they had allegedly ignored over the years. So I kind of look like, well, he might have a point here. Okay. And then he says, Dear Mr. Khatib and all oversight parties, my name is Braxton Wells, a retired and 100% disabled U.S. Army veteran. And I'm formally demanding expedited review and action regarding case blah, 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 filed with the State Bar of California. The case involves attorney Jeannie Harrison, who I believe is guilty of serious illegal malpractice, conflict of interest, and conspiracy to obstruct justice in connection with Tyler Perry Studios and their legal counsel. This is not just a civil issue. It is tied to a criminal rape case in Georgia with a pending investigation under detective blah, blah, blah. You can see that for yourselves. For those that are watching on YouTube, they said Jeannie Harris's office in collusion with Michael Robbins, a third-party employment investigator retained by Tyler Perry, knowingly suppressed critical evidence, encouraged silence, and pushed an unfair settlement that was never seen by a judge, jury, or even mediation. The agreement was constructed under duress and void of unlimited jurisdiction. And the reason why I bring up the California State Bar and the Tom Girardi of it all, it's important to know those other aspects because they're like, well, they're not that innocent. You protected this man for decades over there in California. So I'm not saying that what Braxton is saying here is 100% the truth or fact, but there is a history of decades of protecting Tom Girardi, and now finally it's caught up with him. All right, because again, he posts his Screen Actors Guild television. So let me just see what the caption. He says, you think SAG-AFTRA helped me out too? I don't think so. And I'm a union member with them and I'm supposed to have protection. And even the lady in Georgia, who's the president of SAG-AFTRA, was protecting Tyler Perry. You think these guys, you guys think this is a game, but it's not. All actors, you are being used as puppets and slaves to the business, but don't worry. Then he goes, Yahweh is going to tear all this down completely. Using me as a vessel, I guess he meant to say. Okay, so this was a weekly business, weekly salary, 1 week minimum. Okay, this is his contract for being with them. All right. And then he posts, okay, so there's more clips here, guys, that we're going to play. If you're just joining us, guys, if you haven't already, be sure to like this video. It's an easy and free way of supporting the channel. This is what Tech Diva. Instead of saying devil's advocate, because you know what we think of Diddy now. I was being facetious. Instead of saying devil's advocate, please understand I'm not a Diddy advocate. Let's not get it twisted over here. All right. So there's more clips that he posted here. Okay, so I'm going to play some of these clips for you guys. But as I said to you before, it is a members only live. Shout out to our members. We appreciate their support. Become a member today at TheKempire.com/join. There are all kinds of perks to being a member here on the channel. And everything that we're talking about in regards to the sources that we're using are highlighted in the description. Okay. Oh, wait, hold on. I did save a couple of comments that I wanted to mention. Powerful says, I just purchased my ticket for the DC show, even though I'm in Brooklyn. I'm going to be in DC that weekend, so why not make it sense? Yes, Powerful. I love that. Guys, don't forget the Kempire After Dark live show is coming to Philly this Thursday at the City Winery there. Go get your tickets. Tickets are still available. Meet and greets are available for that. We'll be in Atlanta August 5th. We'll be in DC August 22nd. Then back here in New York City, September 12th. Again, more information on all of that will be available in the description. We will be talking about this, and there I can really talk. There's just so much that I want to say, and we have to change verbiage when we're here on YouTube. All right, because I just drank my liquid IV, let me take a little bit of a break. I'll be right back. Hold on. So I shared with you my morning skincare routine. Now I'm sharing my nighttime skincare routine, brought to you by our friends over at Butter. Over the last several weeks, we've partnered with Butter, and I've been utilizing their skincare routine, and I have been loving it. So let me share with you my nighttime skincare routine. It's very simple, and it's made even simpler by our friends over at Butter. First, I start off with their cleanser. Wash your face with their cleanser. Then I use their silky soft towel, which I love. I love. They're disposable. They are quality. You shouldn't be using the same towel that you use to dry your body on your face. And then I'm using their retinol. People don't understand the benefits of retinol. Smaller pores, youthful skin. A lot of people don't even utilize this. You should. All you need next is their Coco Shea moisturizer. As I've said before, they've made my routine a lot simpler because I've had to use a different morning moisturizer versus what I use at night. With their Coco Shea moisturizer, I can utilize it for my morning and my evening. I just put a little bit less on in the morning. At night, I put a little bit more. And that's it for my nighttime routine. One of the other big questions that people have asked me, is there a scent in the moisturizer? Very light scent. The other question people have asked me, is Butter Black owned? Not only is it Black owned, their president is a Black woman. But of course, you also ask, can we get a discount? Of course, get 10% off when you use my link, butterskin.com/Kempire. More information on Butter will be available in the description. Thanks, Butter. And we're back. And we are back. If you just joined us, we're talking about some more accusations are coming out in regards to a senior vice president over at Tyler Perry Studios. Braxton Wells is accusing Mark Swinton. I'll put Mark Swinton's picture with Tyler Perry up. He's accusing Mark Swinton of graping him and SAing him, and he's accusing these attorneys of covering it up. He's also saying that Tyler Perry Studios tried to silence him as well. Allegedly, these are allegations. He did sign a settlement. Before we get to settlement, I do want to play these clips that are here as well.
He's saying, hey, I got text messages of the lady telling me this. Stay away from the police. Keep your status quo. Delete the post. They can sue you for defamation. But they want you to take it down so they can still pay you. Okay, so let's go back. I got a 2-year statute of limitation, they said. I don't have a case, right? I don't have a case. So if you got a 2-year statute of limitation in civil in Georgia, you have no case. We ain't paying shit. We can fight you in court, right? But they said, no, we still want to pay him. We still want to negotiate. My attorney still didn't tell me my rights. I was still never told my rights. I was manipulated. I was coerced to sign something that I didn't want to sign. They had me in an increment payment. They settled. My attorney has settled with me with $500,000, and she took $201,000 from me and leaving me with $298,000. Versus $260 million that Derek Dixon is requesting.
Again, it's important to note he's requesting. Derek Dixon has not gotten $260 million. He's probably looking at this and like, wait, I could have gotten a lot more. I mean, anyone else would. Any normal human being would. But again, I don't believe Derek Dixon is going to get $260 million. I do believe he's going to get more than $500,000, though. But you never know.
And he's doing criminal and civil.
I don't believe Derek Dixon's doing criminal. He's only doing civil. Yeah, Derek Dixon hasn't filed a police report, to my knowledge. I don't recall reading that in the lawsuit. So.
And you tell me I wasn't manipulated. I wasn't shut out, silenced. I was pressured to sign that contract. They tell me to delete the post because I was gaining traction. Because they were getting too much attention. They knew the situation I was going through. It was wrong. Tyler Perry signed a contract knowing that he said, I deny every allegation. Him and Mark Swinton. And he kept the person in that very office that did a felony crime and sexual assault and rape.
That's the part that I'm sort of like, that's why I had to look up to whether or not Mark Swinton was still working there. He is. Again, in the settlement, they deny any of the allegations. However, there was a settlement. And again, people settle for different reasons. But part of me was sort of like, why would you settle something like this? These are some very egregious allegations.
Me having he's saying, hey,
okay,
I got text messages.
Okay, he has these cut up, guys. So let's go to part 8.
Me having me getting diagnosed, working on getting, like, I was getting diagnosed with Stockholm Syndrome. If you don't know what Stockholm Syndrome is, I would advise you to look that up. I had every medical documents proving that. But my civil attorney ignored it. I'm going to just say this. I don't need no help from no man, no woman, no politician, no lawyer, no law enforcement. I don't need no help. I just need a fair trial. I'll represent my damn self. Yahweh would represent me. I don't need no...
I would advise against that. I'm just saying, no, especially because he signed a settlement agreement already, I would advise you get a good attorney in regards to this.
Lawyers, I don't need anyone. Because all I asked was for some help. All I asked for help. But you know what? That's what the devil does. Keeps tearing you down, feel like you ain't got nobody. But the only person with me is Joshua the Messiah and Yahweh Elohim, my Father in heaven. And I'm going to tell you right now, Tyler Perry, Marquis Swinton, Jeannie Harrison, Michael Robbins, Chris Giovanni, everybody that was part of this glorious manipulation. I'm going to get every single last one of you because I know you guys don't want to go to court with me. I dare you to go to court with me. I dare you. You can't even take nothing from me because everything is going to be voided in court.
Powerful, I don't know if you saw it. He also highlighted why he believes, again, I'm not sure if that legally is correct, why he believes the NDA is voided. And what we've always said, NDAs do not protect against talking about crimes. But again, in the settlement, Tyler Perry Studios says that he did nothing wrong.
Everything is going to be void. The judge is going to ask you, why was this not being seen by any judge? There's a person that is going through PTSD and having all these medical problems and medical issues, and this was never presented by my attorney. This was legal malpractice. So I want you to give me all the paperwork you want to have me subpoena in court. I will be gladly to present all these evidence to the courtroom and to the judge and show how much of a manipulation that you guys done to a U.S. Army veteran that has served this country. Me having me getting diagnosed, working on getting, I was getting diagnosed with Stockholm syndrome.
All right, let me go to, because now it's replaying. Again, he didn't put like the one full video. He broke them up in pieces, and then he posted a few different things in between.
Issues, and this was never presented by my attorney. This was legal malpractice. So I want you to give me all the paperwork you want to have me subpoena in court. I will be gladly to present all these evidence to the courtroom and to the judge and show how much of a manipulation that you got.
Pageant Mommy said, is he suing his attorney? I don't believe he's filed a lawsuit at this particular point. I think he's just speaking out now. Powerful says, why is he speaking out now? Because now he's seen Derek Dixon's lawsuit, $260 million lawsuit, and he's like, wait, how come he was able to file this lawsuit the way that he did? I think he's confused legally on what's happening with the Derek Dixon of it all, but he's also saying that he feels as if his attorneys at the time and the private investigator that was involved misinformed him or did not inform him of all of his rights, and that he didn't want to sign a settlement agreement with Tyler Perry, allegedly, but he did sign one.
Has done to a U.S. Army veteran that has served this country, has done everything to do for this country, and you treat me like this. Don't worry. This is just the beginning. And I'm going to get every last one of y'all. Every last one of y'all. You, Mr. TP. You, Mr. Swinton. You, Miss Jeannie Harrison. You, Michael Robbins. And you, Chris Giovanni. Yahweh is watching all of y'all. And he already know what you guys did. You can't hide from him. But I promise you, I'm going to get a fair trial. I even talked to Derek Dixon's attorney. He wants me to come and I give him all my evidence. He wants me to come and, come testify in court.
Oh, is that an update in regards to, because he also posted that he had reached out to Derek Dixon's attorneys, and originally they did not want to take his case. So he's now saying they've reached out to him in regards to testifying, probably in regards to Derek Dixon's lawsuit, $260 million lawsuit.
Want me to come testify in court? I gave you all my evidence, and you couldn't even help me? Oh, I got a lot of workload with Derek. We got to take down Tyler. Well, all right, Mr. Jonathan Delshad. Let's take down Tyler.
Okay. So that was his last video, but then he posted some more, of course, this picture of Tyler. He says, to Tyler Perry and Mark E. Swinton, Mark is who he's accusing of the grape and essay. He says, to the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. Isaiah 8:20. He says, I speak today not just for myself, but for every soul silenced by power, fame, and fear. Marquis Swinton, you groomed and raped me while I was under your influence, flying me from Los Angeles to Georgia under false pretenses. You abused your position as vice president of Tyler Perry Studios. He's now senior vice president, a company that claims to stand for faith, to commit unspeakable evil behind closed doors. Tyler Perry, you built your empire on the image of a God-fearing man, yet when darkness crept in through your own executive, you chose silence. You retained a predator in your house and helped cover it up, protecting your brand over a broken human life. That's not faith, that's fraud. He says, Yahweh sees all. He says he is not mocked. He says, you hid behind Hollywood politics, lawyers, and NDAs. You thought your money could bury truth, but no contract signed under duress, no manipulation by a corrupt attorney, and no celebrity circle will stop Yahweh's judgment. Then he quotes another scripture. He says, I cried for help. You turned your back, but Yeshua, the Messiah, was also betrayed, mocked, and crucified. And just like him, I rise not for fame, but for justice. I am formally declaring in front of Yahweh and the public, I will no longer be silent. Your system tried to enslave me. Your lawyers tried to scare me, but the Spirit of Yahweh has set me free. All right. Let me see what else he said. He also posted this. I don't know. This was in response, I believe. He says, just so people know, I came out about this situation way before Derek Dixon. He says, they told me to take down the video, threatened me, and even my own lawyer threatened me while I was trying to go to law enforcement. I post everything on my page for people to read, not to glance. Okay. So I wonder if he still has the video. So this is where he said that he posted his story. He put #MeToo. He says, my story when I was groomed, SA'd, and raped by Vice President of Tyler Perry Studios, Marquis Swinton. I didn't know any better, just a very excited actor who loved the craft and thought I finally had my breakthrough, but all that I got crushed by a predator. My dreams crushed for 2 years. Life wasn't the same anymore, dealing with medical issues, unaliving, constantly taking substances to numb the pain. Sound familiar? He says, forced to fire my agent, being manipulated and controlled. That's why I steered away from the business, being blackballed in Hollywood. Now I don't even care anymore. I'm just sick of a studio that claimed they care about the people and care about God and giving Black actors opportunities and doing this in my hometown. But all they are doing is being predators. It's sickening. And I was one of the biggest supporters of Tyler Perry. He put TP, but I'll just say that. Going to see Medea shows and movies and all that was ruined by encountering the evilness. I know I'm not the only one out there. One way or another, I will get justice. And these are just half the evidence I have on him. #Atlanta. Okay, let me see. Is that it? Okay. Let me see. And he did post some things in his Instagram story. Some things have been taken down. So let me see if I was screenshotting everything yesterday, guys, because I was like, you never know. And I'm sure people have reached out to him in regards to this. Let me remove this. Let me go back here. If you're just joining us, guys, we're talking about Braxton Wells, who's accusing Tyler Perry Studios of covering up a grape that happened to him at the hands of their senior vice president, Marquis Swinton. Allegedly. He did sign a settlement. Okay, before we get to that, actually, let me, I don't know if we need to go through the settlement. He did post the settlement, all the pages of the settlement. He says the settlement release and non-disclosure agreement is entered into this 31st day of October of 2024. That's how recent this is. Okay. He says by and between Mark Swinton, TPS at Fort Mac, LLC, okay, and all the related entities, and Braxton Wells, Swinton and TPS and Wells are referred to here as parties, collectively the date on which the last party executes the agreement. Okay. Wells has made certain allegations against Swinton and or TPS, as alleged by Wells in an Instagram post on September 25th of 2024. And also as asserted by Wells in an investigation conducted by TPS. So they had a third-party investigation. This is where you see Braxton talking about accusations against Robbins in regards to how he handled the third-party investigation. Okay. They said also asserted by Wells in an investigation conducted by TPS, Swinton and TPS deny all such allegations collectively the claim. So that's important to note in this settlement. Okay. So they said the parties have reached an agreement concerning the disposition of any and all claims against Swinton and or TPS related to or arising out of the claim in order to avoid the expense and inconvenience of litigation. So this is what they're saying. This is why they're only going into the settlement, to avoid the expense of it all. I mean, yes, you could say that, but, and again, when you sign this non-disclosure agreement, you're thinking that this will never come out. I'm just saying. Ms. Frazier says, in his employment NDA or bylaws of the Screen Guild, it could be that the lawsuit goes to arbitration instead of a trial, which we've talked about before with other people that have contracts, like with Nene Leakes and her discrimination lawsuit against Bravo. She ended up dismissing it and then going into mediation with them. So let me just skip through some of this. Let me see where. Okay, so it's like 10 pages. Agreement to arbitrate is in here as well. And so the parties agree to confidentially arbitrate any and all disputes, claims, or controversies that may have regarding the enforcement or application of this agreement. So there's an arbitration agreement in this too. That should be noted. Okay. All right, let me see. I just want to see how much, because he already talked about how much he was paid and how much he paid his attorneys. Sure, that's in here somewhere. What page is that on? They also have on page 5 the NDA portion. Let me see. Okay. So he was paid. Oh, yeah, here it is. It's on page 1. So consideration. In consideration of the mutual execution of this agreement and Wells' covenant not to file suit against Swinton or TPS, the undertakings here in full compliance with the terms of this agreement and the agreement to be legally bound, Swinton and TPS agree to pay or cause to pay to Wells monetary compensation in total gross amount of $500,000. So he was paid in the settlement $500,000. They said on the following schedule, so he was given a schedule on how this was going to be paid. They said November 1st, 2024, $301,200, of which $201,200 represents attorney's fees and costs, and $100,000 is allocated to Wells. December 2nd of 2024, $39,760. January 3rd of 2025, $39,760. February 3rd of 2025. This is how recent this is. They're paying out these. $39,760. Sam, this would be a question I would ask an attorney. Why are we on a payment plan when you are a billionaire? Just asking. March 3rd of 2025, $39,760. And April 1st of 2025, $39,760. The December 2024 through April 2025 payments are all allocated to Wells. Payments of the consideration is contingent upon Wells's full compliance of the terms contained herein and timely receipt of a W-9 form from Wells's counsel. There is a non-disclosure agreement within the settlement. He technically has violated that and will have to pay back this money. However, he's claiming that it's voided because of a variety of different reasons. He feels as if his rights weren't fully explained to him. I'm not an attorney. I just feel like that is probably part of the reason why some attorneys probably were like, hands off, hands off. All right. Was there anything? Oh, yes. There were things that he posted in his Instagram story that I wanted to share. So these are some of the things that he posted. He says, and this was included, we talked about this a little bit already, but he says this in his Instagram story yesterday. This has now disappeared. He says, and this guy is who is helping out Derek Dixon's case, his attorney. I gave this lawyer all my evidence and no support. You see what this guy do? It's all politics. Help them testify, but not help me and represent me as a client. It's ridiculous. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. I tried to unalive myself. Nobody cared. Only my creator. I mean, it's sad because like clearly he has gone through trauma. He was already diagnosed with PTSD before all of this. And then to go through all of this, I definitely feel for him. He then posts on his Instagram story. He says, but here's my think that Derek Dixon's case. I gave this man all my evidence for his $260 million lawsuit, but he didn't try to help me. So I'm not about to sit here and get taken advantage of again. He then says, I'm here to find justice. They want to come take me out and unalive me, then come find me, Tyler. I'm waiting. I'm not scared of none of y'all anymore. Y'all ruined everything for me, and you jeopardized my civil attorney. That's why I don't trust the system. I only trust Yahweh, and y'all thought I was crazy. Then he talks about Christian Keys here. All right. So he says, he reposts the Neighborhood Talk post where Christian Keys talks about All the King's Men prequel that he was working on and him taking it to another network, because he also alleged that they try to take away, Christian Keys says that they try to take away his creator credit. And I'm not sure if he was referring to Tyler Perry or if he was referring to BET. He never really clarified, but I just want to emphasize that. So he says here, Braxton Wells, he says, see, the reason why he keeps playing the game with Tyler in regards to Christian Keys, he says, is because he's still in the business and he's scared of his reputation. But you have to understand that as soon as you leave the business, you won't care about that no more. And that was my feeling. I didn't get a chance to talk about Christian going on social media because he never said Tyler Perry. Again, he never clearly said who he was. Remember, Christian came out in 2023 with allegations about a black billionaire, even said that it would break your hearts if you knew who it was. He never said who. He then blocked me, probably a bunch of other people that were reporting on this story. Again, I had Christian Keys' back. I was like, who did it? Who are we referring to? He never came out. He just went silent. Again, all the Queen's Men, there we go. This series on BET Plus, starring Eva Marcel, was created by Christian Keys, but it's produced by Tyler Perry Studios. That's important to note. All right, let's go to his Instagram story, guys. As I'm going through this, if you haven't already, be sure to like the video. It's an easy and free way of supporting our channel. Don't forget, you can also hear our live recaps and special episodes on the Kempire podcast. You can also hear special episodes that I did for our paid Apple Podcast subscription. Shout out to our Club Kempire Baddies. I break down more of the Diddy stuff. And just like that, the HBO Max series. That is our key time. So become a subscriber today. You can get a free 3-day trial if you check it out. There's all kinds of things that are there, including my White Lotus recaps and more. That also includes, you can also see my White Lotus recaps here on YouTube if you're a member. All right. And shout out to our members. This is a members only live chat. Let me add this back. Let me go here. All right. Let's get back into what he said on his Instagram story. All right, I'm going to pause this. So he highlights this. Then he highlights this. We went through this already. Hold on.
Continuously find out that your show is coming back on the internet instead of finding out from the network. And I've mentioned that in previous seasons, and it's still happening. Or to see the trailer online and have to go search.
Good evening.
And you guys remember this video. This was the original video that Christian Keys had posted on social media. I remember it was a Saturday, or I think it was like a Friday night, and he posted this, and we reported on it the next day.
I hope everybody's doing.
So according to Braxton Wells, who's coming out with this story, he says, you have to understand that Tyler is not going to let your project have any rights on anything. That's why he has executive producer credits on Christian's show. You want proof? I'll show you.
Doing amazing. I've been speaking to my brother about
And if you saw, it was a quite a long video that Christian posted, and he said that he was dropping trigger words in that video that he posted back in 2023 in regards to he has evidence, like literal evidence. He would walk into some of these meetings with this black billionaire, and he said that he had recording devices. So I felt like he was putting that out there publicly. He didn't file a lawsuit against Tyler Perry. He never said Tyler Perry's name. And for those that are reporting, he cleared Tyler Perry. He never cleared Tyler Perry. He never distinctly said it's not Tyler Perry. We don't know who it is. Okay, so he posts this, submission, release, and agreement. Let me see what else he has here. Then he posts this. He says, you'll never get rights with anything because Tyler Perry will steal from you, take advantage of you, keep predators in office, and continue to take all the rising actors and his boyfriends to the Bahama Islands. And Mark Swinton, who he's accusing of, takes his victims to his Italy home. Allegedly, we'll say. So he's responding to a comment here. And I will say this. And I said this when I covered the Derek Dixon lawsuit. When I did the short form video talking about this story, I saw in the nether regions of my Instagram DMs, someone saying, Kempire, you shouldn't talk about Tyler Perry like this. You're better than this. But I was like thinking to myself, I report on pop culture news. That includes Tyler Perry. But I just thought it was very random to get, mind you, I've been covering the Diddy of it all and everything else. And I'm like, the Tyler Perry of it all. I was like, do you work for Tyler Perry? But you never know. So he says, responding to this comment from Sylvia, she says, weren't you hiring a lawyer? It seems like you're trying to extort them into social media to get them to hire a lawyer and do this the right way to the police. I do not understand why you guys get on social media doing all this and you can't take real legal action and really take care of this. He says, pay close attention to this person. This is one of TP's fake associates on a fake account to stir up the situation, but they can do it all they want because you can't stop Yahweh. I'm telling you. He then posts this. We went through this already. They think they can. He posting a response to this person's comment. He said, there are a lot of lawyers that you could hire that are far more credible than reaching out to ambulance chaser Gloria Allred. He says they think they can change someone's testimony, but they can't. Let me see. What else did he post on here? Just wanted to see he responds to another person's comment. Okay. And then, we already went through this already. I just want to see if there was anything new that he posted. He posted this 10 hours ago. He says, people saying that wait, hold on. Let me go back. Let's pause. He says, Braxton Wells on his Instagram account story says, people saying that they can come after me now since I signed the NDA. You think I didn't read the clauses? Of course I did. Did I file a police report way before the NDA sign? Yes. He says, I was told my rights from my attorney. No. He says, am I a disabled veteran and I'm protected? Yes. Protected by federal statutes? Yes. He says, but forget all the man-made things. I'm protected and covered by the blood. Okay. He then says, I'm doing this to expose lies and make sure that this doesn't happen to the next person. The people who are silent are suffering. They are in bondage. And Yahweh wants these modern pharaohs to release his people. They are literally trafficking and using their money to take advantage of Yahweh's children. I don't care about no piece of paper because this is criminal. Ain't no judge going to allow them to take anything from me. I want them to take me to court so everything comes up in discovery. Oh, well, then there's that. Okay. Because everyone was saying that you signed an NDA within your settlement agreement. They're going to ask for your money back. He's saying, well, the NDA doesn't protect them against crimes, and he wants them to sue him so that discovery can happen. Okay. All right. He just posted this because I did see that the on-site had posted his video as well. Okay. And Tasha K did as well. Okay. All right, guys. We've been live for like an hour and 40 minutes covering this story. Let me go back to looking normal. I'm going to drop the call link for our members. Members, I'm going to drop the call link for you guys. I'm going to take some quick callers. Normally, on Mondays, we recap Real Housewives of Atlanta. There is no new episode of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, hence why we had some time to go live today. I probably will go live again for for our, I want to show you the New York City show. I just have to find it and share it with you guys. And then I will probably put it under the members only. So shout out to those of you that are members. You're going to get a double header today, hopefully. Hopefully. All right, let me go to the post tab. If you haven't already, be sure to like the video. I will drop the call link for everyone once we get to 750 likes. Get to 750 likes. But if you're a member of the channel, I'm going to drop the call link here. We're talking about Braxton Wells, who took to social media over the weekend to allege that Mark E. Swinton, who is an executive, a senior vice president over there at Tyler Perry Studios, of raping him. He's also accusing Tyler Perry and Tyler Perry Studios of trying to cover up these allegations. He did sign a settlement agreement where he received $500,000, $201,000 went to his attorney. Then he had a payment plan that up until April of this year, he was receiving payments from Tyler Perry. In that settlement agreement, he did sign an NDA where he wouldn't talk about this. Within that settlement agreement, both Tyler Perry, Mark E. Swinton, and Tyler Perry Studios said that they are basically doing this to avoid a lengthy litigation and expenses. They're not claiming any. They're not agreeing that they did anything wrong in regards to this. But again, these are some pretty damning allegations. I get it, the expense of it all, but those are some damning allegations. It will be interesting to see, though, with this coming out now, if other people will come forward. Because keep in mind, if this is true, I'm not saying that any of this is true. If this is true, that Mark E. Swinton did this was not his first, allegedly. In my opinion, if this is true. Angel says, yay, lucky us, two lives today. No promises. No, I'm going to work on it after this. So we'll take a few callers. If you're a member of the channel, I dropped the call and link on the community tab so you guys can share your thoughts. Live chat. Hold on. I'm going to drop the call link for you guys too, because I just don't feel like waiting around because I have other things to do today, like my second live. Okay. So I am going to drop the call link for our, you know what? I'm going to drop the call link for our YouTube folks first. Okay. So we do that. Yeah, Pageant Mommy says typically a pattern. Typically, we're not saying that that's necessarily fact, but typically, if any of this is true, I feel like more people will come forward. Okay, so if we see Mark E. Swinton step down from Tyler Perry Studios, that would be interesting development. All right, Cynthia's backstage. Again, the opinions of the callers do not represent the opinions of myself, the Kempire LLC, or our sponsors. Everything that they say is alleged. Everything that we said in this video is alleged. And as always, we cited our sources. Going on, if you want a legal expertise and perspective on this, be sure to check out the video that Pam Esquire, the law intellect, did on this. Speaking of which, she did give us an update on Derek Dixon. So let me just play that before we get to our callers. She did give us an update on Derek Dixon's lawsuit.
So he filed it June 13th. There was a civil case cover, notice of case assignment, another updated civil case cover on June 16th. The address of the attorneys was updated. It was a middle name change. They updated the organization name. They updated TPS production. They updated the civil case cover sheet. June 18th, the case management conference scheduled for October 15th. That was from the court. And then there's a notice of case management conference. He hasn't even been served this. There is no proof of service. So he hasn't even been served, so he hasn't even answered it, is what I'm saying. So you're kind of making it as if what's being said is just so okay.
Again, I posted Pam's entire video, so if you want a legal perspective on some of the things that Braxton is saying in his content, be sure to check that out. More information is available in the description. Let me bring up Cynthia. Cynthia, what did you want to share in regards to this story?
Hi, Kempire. How are you?
Well, how are you?
I'm good, Kempire. I was just on the live chat. I was chatting with other members. Hollywood and the music industry is becoming very, very weird, dark.
I agree.
I also believe, well, like I said, I'm a psychiatric nurse. I really hope that, what is his name, Michael?
Braxton Wells.
Well, I'm sorry, Braxton Wells. I hope he's not going through a psychotic break, because normally when my patients are going through a psychotic break, they always talk about God and Yahweh. I just really hope he's not going through a psychotic break.
Yeah.
But I'll keep him in my prayers, and I don't know what's going on with Tyler Perry. We'll see.
Yeah. And definitely, I hope his family has reached out to him just to check on him, because, like you said, we don't know what's necessarily going on with him. I will say, based off the videos, he seems very clear on his story. But yeah, we definitely hope people are checking on him.
Exactly, I agree. Thank you, Kempire.
Thanks, Cynthia, for calling in.
You're welcome. Take care.
Bye. All right. I dropped the call link for members. I dropped the call link for the live chat, but Cynthia was the only one to call in, which is fine because I've already been talking for an hour and 45 minutes. I'm going to go because, like I said, I probably will go live again later on today to show all of you the New York City show. So stay tuned for that. And then I'll probably put that just for members after it. So don't miss that live, because I will premiere it live for everyone, but members will have access to it after the live. All right. Thank you to our King's Guards. Thank you to everyone that called in. Thank you guys for the super chats. Those of you who became members today or have been members, we appreciate your support, your monthly support. Some of you have been members for years. We do not take that lightly. Thank you to those of you that send in cash, that's Venmos, things like that. I see that after the live, all my notifications are off. We appreciate that. Don't forget, the Kempire After Dark, a live show, is coming to Philadelphia this Thursday. So make sure you get your tickets if you haven't gotten your tickets already. Even if you're in New York City or if you're in South Jersey, come to the Philly show, because I'm not coming to South Jersey. So get your tickets today for the Philadelphia show. It's a completely different side of me at these shows. And this is also an opportunity for you guys to ask questions or spill tea as well. Then we're coming to Atlanta on August 5th. Then we'll be in DC on August 22nd. I saw that some of you already got your tickets. Powerful says, I got my DC tickets. And Powerful lives here in New York City. So again, if you missed the New York City show that's coming up in September, come to that show. Just saying. More information on all the shows will be available in the description. Meet and greets are available for all of the shows, but the New York City show has a live stream option. So even if you're across the pond or in Africa, you can attend this show virtually. Ticket information, again, will be available in the description. Thank you to our King's Guards again. Thank you to our channel members. And of course, thank you to our subscribers and to the replay crew. Replay crew, be sure to share your thoughts and opinions on what Braxton Wells, an actor, one of Tyler Perry's former actors, is breaking his silence on accusations that Tyler Perry's senior vice president allegedly raped and SA'd him. And he did sign a settlement agreement where he received $500,000, $201,000, which went to his attorneys. But he did sign a settlement agreement, which included an NDA. He's saying that NDA is null and void. Doesn't seem as if he's about to file his own lawsuit. I'm not sure exactly what his intention might be. Maybe it is just to expose what's been happening allegedly behind the scenes. Should be noted within that settlement agreement, Tyler Perry Studios, Mark E. Swinton is not claiming any illegal activity. They're just trying to avoid, according to them in the settlement, expensive legal costs. Okay. Guys, if you haven't already, be sure to like the video. I will see you all in the next one. And a shout out to our podcast crew as well for the podcast. If you're listening, don't forget to give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Thank you guys for watching and for listening. Thanks for tuning in to Kempire here on the Kempire Radio Network. As always, you can hear Kempire on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. More information can be found on KempireRadio.com.
What's the difference between DIY and doing it yourself? It's the difference between a part-time passion and a full-time business. Wix gives you the power to turn your passion into a moneymaker. With a website that fits your unique vision, let your ideas flow with AI that guides you, but keeps you in the driver's seat. Manage your business from one dashboard and keep it growing with built-in marketing features. It's time to turn your daydream into your dream job. Go to Wix.com.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.